Good afternoon, YouTube. Drew Franklin here. Zach Gagan showing a little moves there. Adam Luckett. Speaking of moves, before we get started, we learned last week Steven was out and Nick Roush was producing the show. Steven, you don't have to chime in, but I didn't know that while that's playing, you can still see us dancing. So all these times we've danced thinking no one's watching as we're getting ready for the intro, turns out Steven has just been watching our terrible moves. So your secret's out, Steven. You've been caught. Roush told on you. But Steven is back. Took a vacation. Looked like a great time in California. We're glad to have him to help us run a new KSR Happy Hour brought to you by Country Boy Brewing. As I said, we got Zach. We got Adam Luckett. I'm Drew Franklin. And I think for the first time since we've been doing these, my fridge was empty, guys. And I'm so tired. I am having what I couldn't even begin to tell you what number of coffee this is, 8, 9, 10. But I had to go. I had to go with some Job instead of some beer to stay alive today. But we do love our friends at Country Boy Brewing. Check them out. They were founded in the heart of Kentucky. Got the spot in Georgetown. You can go over to Chair Avenue near downtown Lexington. They're over at PKL out at Winchester. Get them at Kroger, Liquor Barn, Total Wine, all over the place. We love Country Boy, and I would love to have one right now, but this will keep me alive. I really needed it. Also, before we get started, got a lot of news today. A new shout-out, the Gainbridge Super League Final. What is that, you ask? Well, it is the biggest night in Lexington soccer history. It's this Saturday, May 30th, over at the new Lexington SC Stadium. Lexington SC hosts Carolina Ascent FC under the lights. It's the women's professional championship match. It's the first time it's ever been hosted in Lexington. After winning the Players' Shield and the Golden Boot, they'll be playing 90 minutes to complete the dream season. So get there. Gates open at 5:30. General admission tickets are only $5. Beers, $1.50 to $2. $2 beer, you can't find that anywhere anymore. So this Saturday, Lexington SC, Gainbridge Super League Final. Cheap beer, cheap tickets, $5, family friendly. And Steven, hit the video.
Unbelievable! Lexington is doubled! The deadlock in the semifinal. Carolina does it again.
That got me hyped. Also, as it said there, if you can't make it, you should make it. But if you can't, we'll be streaming on Peacock. So let's go. Lexington SC women in a big match 2 days away. Also, big stuff coming up. It's been nonstop to be late May. Just jump right in with some Momcilovic. I mean, it's all anyone's talking about it anymore. We did an hour of it on KSR. We don't normally spend more than 3 minutes on any topic. Last night, Zach and Jack and Jacob did a rapid reaction when Milan Momcilovic announced he'll be coming back to school. Today, the internet is trying to guess where he'll go. It seems that the decision won't take long. He'll only need a few days, or he could surprise us at any moment. Who really knows? But the Cats seem to be in the best position. Haven't closed the door. We've been in great position before. But, Zach, as we've said over and over again, Kentucky just has so much to offer him. Right now, we're all just kind of waiting to see if he'll sign the paper and get it done. With Louisville, unfortunately, still being named in the mix. St. John's now out after your boy Yesufu came back to school last night and picked St. John. So they're out, but it's looking like a Kentucky-Louisville showdown for Momcilovic as we just kind of wait for any news, Zach.
Yeah, how perfect. It couldn't have been two other schools besides Kentucky and Louisville to battle it out for Milan. Very much on brand with how the whole Pope-Kelsey rivalry or whatever it is has gone so far with the whole who was the recruit that they apparently was it Tay Kinney? I think it was Tay Kinney that they allegedly fought each other or like were getting in a wrestling match on the front lawn, which obviously didn't happen. But now I don't know if there will be any front lawn wrestling this time around, but I mean that'd be great if they were in Milwaukee up there fighting in front of Milan's front yard. But Kentucky and Louisville definitely are the front runners right now. All the reports that are coming out as of this morning, Matt Norlander, Joe Tipton, Pete Nakos, even KSR's own Jacob Polachek and Jack Pilgrim, kind of all leaning towards Kentucky. They seem to be the front runner. They have the edge. They have the money. Every time I'm looking at the price count for this kid, it goes up $1 million probably every 12 hours at this point. I think he's up over $7 million is like the starting point just to get it on him at this point, which is insane to think about. I can't imagine that anyone last year was making that much money just for one person. but he's the best shooter in college basketball, and you can potentially fill him in on the wing for Mark Pope in a spot that they kind of need that position to be boosted up a little bit. I'm a big Cam Williams fan. Not entirely sure that he is a starting 3 on a team that can make it to a Final Four or an Elite 8. I do think that Milan Momcilovic can be that guy, and he just has more of a proven track record. Obviously, 48.7% from 3 on high volume last season. He's one of the best three-way scorers, layups, mid-range, outside shots, just deadly from everywhere on the court on offense. Really, he would really help Mark Pope get into that offense that he's talked about ever since he got here. You want to shoot 33s? Well, this kid will shoot 10 of them just on his own per game. So I love the fit. I think he's a perfect fit, better fit than Tunde Yesufu would have been in Kentucky. Kentucky's in a great shape right now. But Drew, you posted on KS Sport, you're like you're at the 1 yard line. You know, you got to tap in birdie. And when you said the 1 yard line, I immediately thought of, and someone beat me to the punch with the joke on the Seahawks Patriots. You know, should have just handed the ball to Marshawn Lynch. I hope Mark Pope just hands the ball to Marshawn Lynch here and just runs this across the goal line here, and Kentucky is able to get this across the finish line, because it does seem like all signs are pointing towards Kentucky, and it catapults them from being a borderline top 25, 30 team, whatever you want to call them right now, to kind of a pretty easy pick to be a top 15-ish, top 20 at worst team going into the preseason. So it's the first big fish that Mark Pope is really like. I mean, he's now this close to really landing him, and until he lands this big fish, it's just going to be the thing that follows him around. But he's a day or two away, hours even, from making that actually happen. But man, it's been a roller coaster to ride this offseason, to say the least. But it would be nice if Mark Pope can really cap things off by landing the third best player in the transfer portal, according to On3.
You mentioned my 1 yard line comment. You went Marshawn Lynch. I thought you were going to go Bush Hamden. We're punching it in. We got to finish this. On another note, just us talking, and this isn't anything negative towards Momcilovic. We want him so bad. We all know how important he is. How tired are you of saying the same things over? We've been having this Momcilovic, what he can mean conversation for a month, waiting for the decision. I know the news came last night, but I feel like we have had these exact same comments over and over. I'm just ready for it to be over with. Get it done. Are you worried about Louisville at all, to kind of switch up how we've been breaking it down? We know where he'll fit, how important he is for Kentucky. We've done all that. You can watch the last 4 happy hours and seen that. But do we think Louisville is seriously a contender with, they don't exactly have anyone that can shoot of his caliber, but their forward spots do seem to be locked up, even though he would steal one of those if they were to get him.
Yeah, and their money is all tied up as well. I guess they're just kind of flush with cash over there, because he would be a pretty high dollar guy on top of the high dollar guys they already got. But I think the fit is just easier to see with Milan at Kentucky. You can pitch him right away as being like your number one guy, or number one offensive option, at least. Zoom and Alex Wilkins will handle the ball, but they're going to be trying to feed it to Milan and get him cooking. So I think you can see the path a little bit, or the fit a little bit easier with Kentucky. And it's Pat Kelsey. Like, why would you want to go play for the guy? Milan has to be at least 16 inches taller than Pat Kelsey as well, so I don't imagine why you'd want to go play for that guy. But yeah, the fit is just so much more obvious with Kentucky that it makes sense. It's honestly made sense for a couple weeks that Kentucky would be his premier option, especially now that St. John's is out. Arizona seems like they're not going to get in there. Texas Tech, LSU, other names floating around. They're kind of behind the pack right now. But if Pope can convince Milan that, hey, I can do the Kobe Bryant route, but instead of being the 41st pick, I can make you the 21st pick in the NBA draft, then I think it meshes a little bit easier. You can just see the vision. Maybe that's the blue tinted glasses I've got wearing right now, but I see the fit just much more clearly in the vision with Kentucky compared to Louisville. But Pat Kelsey, he might have a bag ready to drop at the last minute. We'll see.
I think it's in Luckett's contract that he has to call him Cincinnati Pat. You want to go ahead and get it out of the way?
Drew, I don't even want to talk about Cincinnati Elder Pat. I'm just worried. Everyone's getting excited again.
Yeah.
Like you see it in the chat. Everyone's getting excited. Everyone's all pumped up. I just worry. Let's not have the rug pulled out from under us. Here again.
That's never happened
now.
But right now, it's like the rug is already in our house. The movers, they brought it, they rolled it out. We've put our furniture on it. We're standing on it. You can't pull the rug out now. It seems so obvious. It seems so
This does seem close, but I feel like we've been here before. Maybe we're closer on this one. So they just need to get it across the goal line. Let's do our touchdown dance. Not to throw cold water over everything. It just needs to happen. We talked about just how important it is. To me, I've even said it on this program. I think they're like probably a 7 or 8 seed without him. I think they can be kind of a 2 or 3 seed with him. I don't think it's necessarily a national championship team, but I think it's a team that can have a really good season. And so getting him, I think he makes all the other pieces fit. I think Zach was kind of alluding to that. You all of a sudden you have Cam Williams coming off the bench. You feel like he's one of the best kind of bench players. With Milan, you've got a big wing, but also a guy you can play small ball with. Like he can play the 4. He played 4 when Jefferson was out for Iowa State. And all he can do on offense and just the gravity he brings when he's on the floor. When you got 2 guards that can kind of put it on the deck and create, it's more room for them to operate. So he just makes all the pieces fit, and he makes his team a lot better just inserting him into, I think, the lineup. Get it across the finish line. That's my concern, because it's just like, how many times have it feels like we've been here a lot.
Like 4 times this offseason already.
Yeah. It feels like, and it's also, how many eggs do we have over here? How many eggs do we have to keep throwing them in these baskets? It feels like we have an unlimited amount of eggs over here. Like all eggs are in another basket. Oh, our egg machine is obviously working very, very well. Maybe we need another basket. Maybe we need some more newer baskets here.
Oh, Luckett, thanks for bringing me back to reality, because I'll admit I've been walking around like Momcilovic has already moved in to his apartment. He's already got his jersey number that Braden Hawthorne has given up his for. I'll admit I'm very optimistic, not with Scoop, but I just feel like if I'm in his shoes, like what more could I want? Kentucky has it all, but we all know how that goes, how it's been. Right now, we're just kind of waiting on news to drop. It could come at any moment. The good thing is it doesn't seem that he wants to wait too long. Maybe he goes late into the weekend, but this isn't something that I think is going to stretch out into the summer, which, everybody focuses on that deadline, but they don't have to announce what school they're going to for a while, but hopefully he gets it done soon. Now, let's get to something we're very excited about. That involves the reason why Adam Luckett is coming to us from a hotel room. UK baseball tomorrow, NCAA tournament in Morgantown. First pitch at noon against Wake Forest. Kentucky's the 3 seed. Tough draw, but we're happy to be in after Selection Monday took us for a little bit of a ride. We were the 16th region to be announced. I think a lot of us were thinking it could have been bad news on Monday with the way that show was going, but the Cats get in, and now Luckett is there. Are you when did you get into Morgantown? Are you enjoying the nice West Virginia scenery so far?
I literally walked into my hotel at 3:40.
Oh, okay.
I got in here just the nick of time. Haven't really got to see it all in. Campus is on the other side of town from where I'm at, so I haven't really seen anything yet, but excited for this. Tomorrow team matchup. And it's a regional. I think Kentucky has a legitimate chance to win, where if they got sent to like UCLA or Georgia Tech or one of the top teams, I would have been worried. But they are playing a regional with teams I think they can hang with. And tomorrow's the first one's big because they've been at their best when Jackson Jelkins on the mound. But Wake Forest is throwing a guy who will be probably a top 10 pick, not this year's draft, but next year's MLB draft, and Chris Lavonis. So you're going to see probably a legitimate pitcher's duel tomorrow. And so whoever can win that one's going to have a pretty good chance and probably play the number 1 seed West Virginia and what's expected to be pretty crazy environment over there at their ballpark. They sold out tickets in 30 minutes. Tickets on the SeatGeek at their number 1 market here our third-party market here is like going for $300 a pop just to get in the door.
That seems
so.
Wow.
It's a tough ticket here in town, and so it's going to be a pretty raucous environment over there.
I know you're just getting in there, but when it was announced, Morgantown, Hattiesburg were a couple of the ones Kentucky fans were rooting for. Morgantown being the closest option. I'm glad we got it, but now that you're mentioning ticket prices, I have concerns that we might actually get in there. Do you think we'll see a little bit of Kentucky fans making the trip?
I think you'll see a little bit, probably not much. This is a small park. I think KPP it expands to what, 10 when they have the regionals? Does that sound right?
Let's look it up. That's why we have the internet.
I think they could get it up to 10 to 11.
I think I remember when I went to some of those Tennessee series a couple years ago, they fit like 11,000 in there, and
maybe it was 8. Maybe it's 8,000. Maybe it's not 10. I think it's 8 and change. Well, this holds 3. It doesn't even hold half of what KPP would hold. It holds 3 and change. So it's small, but they're going to be packed in there. And West Virginia fans are known to be should be a fun time.
Hoover was such a letdown, and you win that first game of the last series of the regular season and lose the next 2 to lose to Arkansas. Do we think they can put all that behind them and make a little bit of a run here? You mentioned Jelkin pitching in the first game. We love that, but part of the problem has been anyone not named Jelkin on the mound. Do we have some belief in the Cats in Morgantown?
I think this team, they've always kind of played their best when you've kind of doubted them. When you thought they were out, they kind of bounce back and get a big win. It's when you thought they might be rolling a little bit is when they've kind of stubbed their toe. So I think it's a tough matchup. I think this game tomorrow could really go either way. But I wouldn't be surprised if they win. I wouldn't be surprised if they win these first 2. But then after they win them, you're worried like, how are they going to win these next couple of games with the pitching situation? So it's a wide open regional. Anything I think can happen, especially if your bats get hot and you're able to get a couple good starts. For Kentucky, though, I think really good start from him, probably 7+ innings, and then game 2 you're going to need a really good start from Ben Cleaver if you're able to win it. If they lose this first game, it's just hard to see them ripping off a bunch of wins in a row to win the regional. I think you have to win. If you lose the first one, you got to rip 4 in a row off, I believe it is. Ooh. It's going to be hard to do.
We're here to have fun on the happy hour. We don't have to just talk all baseball. Let's talk a little Morgantown. I know noon game, you're going to get there early. You'll have an early bedtime, but are there any Morgantown stops you have to check out? I went a few times when I was in college. Obviously, we're younger. I was with some people that went to West Virginia. That place was just mayhem as far as the college bar scenes. I know we've outgrown that a little bit, but is there any destinations you're trying to check out? Maybe get a pepperoni roll. Aren't those big there? It's like the only Morgantown.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I've had pepperoni rolls. They are big. We're at the Luckett House. We're big on, diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Oh, yeah.
So, when we travel somewhere, we'll Google, where has Guy Fieri been? Well, there was only one. He's only done one episode in West Virginia, and he's done a trillion of these episodes. So, I don't think it's the best food spot. So, we'll see. I think there's a sports bar right around the corner I'll probably end up at tonight. And then we'll venture around, see what the good folks say. But I even heard that in high school, Drew, that West Virginia party scene was epic and crazy. I think there's a little downtown, and they got 6, 7, 8 of them right there on top of each other, and it's just a madhouse. But it's the summer here, so it's probably not as much of a madhouse as it would be if I came, I don't know, March or something.
It was probably 20 years ago when I was there, and we were young chaps. I remember that little bar scene, watching someone get hit by a car in the crosswalk, and I thought they were dead, and they popped up and just walked right in a bar like nothing had happened. And it just seemed to be the norm there. No one really blinked twice that was going on. I was there.
Steve. Steve's doing it again. He's okay.
Yeah. Oh, they got rocked. And they're like, oh, I'm fine. Dust it off. Where's the beer? I went to, I guess it was Greg Schiano's Rutgers. It was a top 10 college football game. West Virginia definitely had Steve Slayton. I can't think who the quarterback would have been, but it's probably the best college sporting environment I've been to of anything, because it was pure mayhem. I've told this story on KSR before, but they had a fenced in area for a tailgate, and there was only one door. I think you had to show ID. It was mostly young people, but I felt like I was in a cage match just for tailgating. It's like they just took all the drunks and put them in one spot with this big wire around them, and that's where we tailgated.
Voluntary jail is what that sounds like.
Yeah, they definitely do it differently there, but I hope you at least get a pepperoni roll, which are very, very overrated. But again, that's tomorrow, noon, Wake Forest. What channel? SEC Network? Or do we get a
ESPN2?
ESPN2. Yeah, why would it be SEC Network? Dumb guess. ESPN2. Check it out. Batcats run starts tomorrow. And, of course, Luckett will have all the coverage on KSR, KS Board, hopefully doing several reactions. Hopefully you stay a little longer than you did in Hoover. Hope you get a long Morgantown vacation there.
Well, I'll at least get 2 days. Hoover, I was in and out. It was as fast as you could get in town and leave town. So at least getting 2 games down here. So we'll be here for at least a couple nights.
Some other news that's come out recently. We have a lot of scheduling updates, filling out the calendar a little bit. We'll start with football with you, Luckett. Yesterday, college football announced weeks 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, all the kickoff times. Kentucky, that's 3 games. Youngstown State in the opener will be at 1 o'clock. Bad news for the older crowd in BBN. It is a streaming digital game on SEC Network Plus. I think that's why it's not at noon. They built in that extra hour to give everyone time to figure out how to work their Rokus and their Amazons and get logged in and see if they even have that. Then no surprise in the second week, Alabama. I think we all suspected 3:30 ABC. What a perfect time slot for that game. We'll get into that. And then Texas A&M was kind of up in the air. It also gets 3:30. That one hasn't been assigned a channel, but it will be on one of the ESPNs. But Luckett, what were your takeaways from the three kickoff times we learned yesterday?
I think it's a win for the fans. You're getting the I think the one that might be a gripe is, the week one, but you do get a 1 o'clock. So you get the extra hour, and it's a good test run for the big tailgate week the next week. Like, that's the one everyone's had circled on their calendar. So you get to experiment a little bit how you're going to handle your college football Saturday, what you need to bring, make sure your supply list is locked and loaded. So that's a good one. And then I think, you're going to get home for some of the bigger games later that night. And then I think you got to love it. Like 3:30, great kickoff time. You're in a big ABC. You're on the ABC window heading into Texas, Ohio State, which is going to be one of the biggest games of the year. So you're going to have eyeballs on you. You're on a big ABC, and also good tailgate time for the fans. And then week 3, Kentucky 3:30 at A&M in College Station. LSU Ole Miss play that week, and I think anybody who follows college football at all is going to want to have all eyes and attention on that game. So Kentucky's the window before it. Game's going to be over, and you can dive right into LSU Ole Miss if you're a fan. So I think it's a really big win for the fans. Like, that's about as a perfect a start as I think you could draw up. And then coming down the chimney is going to be those 2 October night home games. So you're still getting a couple home games at night. So I think it's a big win for the Big Blue Nation.
How are we going to go home and watch more college football after the Alabama game when we're burning down Lexington in celebration and taking goalposts around New Circle? I'm not going to be dialed into other games. I'm going to be out partying with everybody else. I've already been invited.
You get extra party time. Like, remember when we beat LSU in 2007? It was better than the Louisville game because the game was at 3:30, so you had all night. So there you go.
There we go. And just for Will Stein, they probably won't show much in Youngstown State, and the rest of the country won't see it. You'll have to be logged in. So it's almost like he's going to quietly go into that Alabama game. I assume they're not going to show much against the Penguins or whatever they are week 1. I think they're the Penguins.
Correct.
So you're really, even though Kentucky will have had that week 1 game, it's truly the Will Stein, audition, basically. I mean, that will be when we really see the product. Unfortunately, it is against Alabama, but you can look at it the way he looks at it. If you're scared, go to church. I mean, what an opportunity to say, this is my first game. I'm on ABC. No one has seen me yet. No one knows what tricks I have up my sleeve. Lexington will be on fire. I've been very critical of UK athletics lately. I think the product has become very stale. They better have all the stops for that game. That should be the biggest event Kentucky football has had in a long time. I hope they don't let us down. And it's just, sure, you could be scared that it's Alabama, but you can look at it as an opportunity to go shock the world. And I mean, I just think they can't get a better draw than what they got there. And I can't wait to see what he'll do. Zach, I know you're locked in on basketball, but I know you're fired up for it also.
Yeah, well, the Alabama game is actually my wedding day, so I will be occupied for that Saturday. That is the anniversary of our first date, so I picked that date. To be honest, UK football was not exactly high on my priority list when I was planning out my whole wedding situation and all of that. But I will be following that game from afar, and I hope it's great weather all around, both for my wedding and for the tailgaters. It's going to be great just for that. Like you all were saying, the 3:30 kickoff. So you can tailgate before and after for that one. That should be an awesome day in Lexington. Kind of a bummer that, well, I don't know. Will KS Bar be doing like a thing for that, or will there still be open for that? Has that been revealed? Or?
Yeah, to be clear on that, KS Bar, as everyone knows it, it's going to look exactly the same. It's only going to be open for like home games. It's going to be more of an event space really than a daily restaurant. So a lot of people written us like, well, where am I going to pregame? Where am I going to tailgate? You can still do that on Saturdays. It just won't be open for you to go get wings on a Wednesday at noon. But the game day experiences will not change. That'll still be rocking. So we expect a good time for that one.
I will say, if anyone wants to send, I'll have my Venmo, send us some wedding money, after Kentucky wins. If you're feeling real good, just send me a little bit of some cash so I can go celebrate myself, just a food for thought over there.
I got married during a basketball game, so it happens. It was unintentional.
Which game was that?
It was a crappy one. I booked a Friday night because I looked historically on this date. They had like never played a game on the second Friday or whatever, and then the schedule comes out that year, and they put a Friday night game there. I remember you came.
Was it a real game or an exhibition? I couldn't remember.
It was a real game, but it was a crappy opponent. It was.
Yeah, it was like a 100 to 50.
Yeah, it's the year they moved the Champions Classic forward, and it threw everything off because I thought I had it figured out. I was like, this Friday definitely won't have a game. We'll do it. But Matt ended up doing the post-game show there. Zach went to Rupp and then made it over. So it happens, Zach. You know, wedding's pretty important.
Wedding planning,
Yes.
For me, I started early. The only real thing I did in our wedding planning was, other than propose to my wife, was second or third date. Taylor, I can't get married during the fall. So if that's going to be a problem, we need to hash it out now. But to each their own. I hope y'all have a good time.
Before basketball season was the one.
Yeah. Yeah, we all have our things we have to avoid.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to at least get it before then. And Saturday, like it's September 12th that day, so it should be we could have a perfect weather day. That's really what we're hoping for.
Yeah, you never know, but the fingers crossed. We got married in June. It was the hottest day that summer. And we did photos before the way. Oh my goodness.
Like
no one wanted to leave the bus. Like it was like the bus was like a 60-degree difference, it felt like, from going in and out.
Since we're talking fall weddings, I haven't come forward with this yet, but I have a wedding, the LSU game. I don't love the timing. Ooh. I got to go to it.
Oh, that's tough.
I'm thinking about buying a ticket for that game, actually, and going as a fan for that one.
I'm going to try to figure out a doubleheader situation. I don't know how that's going to work. It's my friend's second wedding, so I feel like, I am excited for him. But, it is round two.
You only go to 50% this time? Like you go to the entire first wedding, you only do 50% the next time?
I think I might wear a suit to KS Bar for the pregame show, run over the ceremony, do a half at Commonwealth, and then try to catch the back end of the reception. But I've got that for me. You're looking ahead. LSU, what is that?
Middle October. 10th? I think it's like 17. Yeah, is it the 10th?
That's going to be a night. Give me percentage chance that's not a night game. Just hit me with it.
Low.
4?
Low, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Low.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. Maybe I can pull off both. Also, completely underrated. But while we're telling family tales, I have to tell you a dad fail I just had right before we did this. Can I share a little? Lucky, you've got a couple kids. You know how this works. I made a minor error. Abby needed a little bit of a nap because we're not sleeping much. She's like, "Go get your nap." I'm gonna put the baby down. I'll get the baby napping. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna get the baby a clean diaper. Get that taken care of. I'll lay the baby down next to you on our bed. She doesn't even have to get in the bassinet. I'll make a nice little spot. So I changed the diaper and put her in a nice clean outfit. Everything's great. I'm like, here you go, baby. Here's mom. You two fall asleep together. About 30 minutes pass. I'm sitting here at my computer blogging, writing a little bit about Justin McBride, and I get a FaceTime from Abby, who is just a couple walls over. I'm like, this is unique. When I changed the diaper, I didn't put a new diaper on. I don't know why. Completely slipped my mind. I don't even know how I didn't know. But baby might have made a big accident in our bed that could have been prevented with a diaper, and I didn't put a diaper on the baby. So that's on old dad there.
Yeah, it's a combination of two things. One, like you're getting the muscle memory, but it's not totally locked in yet. But that's not the real reason. The real reason is just lack of sleep. Like you're just.
That's why I have this.
You mentioned that coffee. I have stopped. I said, Adam, no more cups after noon. Like noon's your cutoff. You can have 2 to 3 cups in the morning. That's it. Then I remembered, Drew is Dylan. He's fighting the good fight, so he needs his 4:30 p.m. pickup. But yeah, you got to get the naps in. You have to get the naps in, and you'll little stuff like that happens. I thought you were gonna say like
you put on the old dirty diaper.
Got up middle of the night. Got up middle of the night. I'm just really tired and just pee in the face. Just right there.
I've had a few close calls there.
But that happens. Hopefully it wasn't anything too bad. The damage.
It wasn't great. Sheets are in the washer right now. Wasn't great. Also, it was her first time wearing this outfit. It's like got her little name on it. We're debuting it. Look how perfect it is. I think that's what it was. I was so excited. I just forgot the diaper part. But yeah, big old dad error on my part. Anyway, back to sports. More scheduling. On the basketball end, we've learned a lot lately. The Gonzaga news is a little bit old, but the schedule's starting to fill out. That game got canceled, but we now know definitely 4 games and their dates, and then we're pretty sure on another game and its date, or at least the event, maybe not the opponent. But we know we have Kansas in the Champions Classic in Chicago. That is the first Tuesday of the season, November 10th. We now know Indiana is in November on a Friday, and that will be at Lucas Oil Stadium. That game was originally announced for a Sunday in December after Christmas. I'm assuming the NFL might have had something to say with that, but it got moved forward to Friday, November 20th. And then the Louisville game
that weekend.
Okay, see, figured NFL. Lucas Oil, if Colts are in town, you're getting bumped. I thought it was odd they put it on a Sunday anyway to begin with. But then we also learned maybe the biggest part of the news is the Louisville game. Maybe that'll be the only time we have to watch it that early in the season last year. It was in November last year. Both sides hated it. We can't agree with Louisville fans on anything, but we were all united in hating the early November Battle of the Bluegrass last year. It moves to December 12th. That's pretty much where it was in Rupp 2 years ago. I know it's not back where it traditionally was around Christmas, but we now know that one. And then North Carolina and the CBS Classic, that's been out a while, December 19th. And then the 5th one I mentioned, the ACC Challenge, probably going to be that December 2nd area. That's where it's been every year. I'd be surprised if it doesn't change. So those are the 5 we know, Zach. If you're a Kentucky fan, money's not an option. Which of those would you go pick to just go crazy and root on the Cats? You got to consider location, time of year, opponent. Which of those stands out to you?
MSG is always – I've never been to MSG. It's still kind of on the bucket list. So I guess that'll be the North Carolina game in New York there for the CBS Sports Classic. That should be a lot of fun. I'm also as a big NBA fan, I'm just really interested to see what happens with Michael Malone as the coach at North Carolina. So I'm very excited to just watch all that, and the whole fanfare of it should be a lot of fun. I will say if it really is like a Kentucky versus Louisville battle for Milan, boy, I really hope that Milan's not wearing red when that game comes to Rupp here in whatever it is in November 20th or no, December 12th. Yeah.
December 12th. Yeah.
But I'm a huge fan of that game moving back to December. I think it was the 3rd or 4th regular season game last season, something like that. And I hated that. I just did not like that at all. It didn't have the same vibe to it. Maybe it was still just because it was kind of
it's terrible.
It was
awful.
It really wasn't any good. So I like moving it back to December, and it's back at Rupp this year, so that'll be a lot of fun. But MSG is still that's the place I'd want. If you haven't been there, that's the place I would suggest going. So I'm looking forward to that. But I mean, you got a bunch of these are quality games right here. So I'm interested to see how they kind of fill out the rest of the non-conference roster or schedule there, and interested to see who that ACC opponent ends up being. I don't imagine it'll be Duke. I don't know who else it could be though, or who else they might kind of look at for that one. So that'll be interesting too. But yeah,
Matt mentioned
on the bucket list.
Matt mentioned Virginia and Miami are favorites.
That was my
based
thought.
On what
The
he's
latter.
hearing.
Miami makes sense with the whole Jay Lucas angle, and they're gonna have a good team actually. They're gonna be really fun. So,
and they came to Rupp in the first one. You get them a little return trip there in that series. The Indiana game, get it out of here. Lucas Oil Stadium, get it out of here. I hate that place. I never want to go back there. That is at the bottom of my list. Champions Classic, I used to go to that every year. I haven't been in the last couple, but I was a regular there, including when we beat Kansas by 1 billion with the 2015 team.
Mm-hmm.
This year, of course, you got the Tyron Stokes angle early in the year. It's in Chicago.
Right.
Kentucky fans get in Chicago a lot. I mean, New York, I'm always going to pick first because I'm obsessed with New York. I got pictures of it hanging on the wall next to me. But look at that. That Kansas one is a high-stakes game that Kentucky fans will take over right away, I assume.
Yeah, where's the Kansas one again? Is that Chicago?
Chicago, United Center.
Yeah, I've still haven't done the Big Apple trip, and MSG is on the bucket list. So that would be the one I would pick. The Louisville game's huge. It's at home. Big Rupp crowds are still awesome. So
yes,
that would be one if you're going to do like a home game. That would be one you want to do. That'll be an awesome atmosphere. That game. It's the same Saturday as 2 years ago when Lamont Butler went crazy. I believe that was like a 4 p.m. tip, 4 or 5 p.m. tip. So you get some build up to that. I would expect something similar this year. So that would be a big game. I'm interested. I'm typically not a big non-con guy in November because I feel unless you're doing a tournament, like any of the big non-con games outside of the Champions Classic, that is, they just feel. Couldn't we just do this in December? at some point? Why do we have to do this? Because when we were growing up, Drew, it was like North Carolina, Indiana, and Louisville. That was like your December Saturdays.
Oh yeah. I remember finally going over to I remember the Indiana game was just as important as Christmas every December. We'd get the family together at my grandparents for the Indiana game.
Yeah, it felt like that was what it was there for a while, and that was awesome. Now it's a little different. I do like if you're going to play it in November, I do like playing it on Friday night. What was the Louisville game last year? Tuesday night or something?
Yeah, it was a weekday if I remember.
Right. You can't really play Saturday and Sunday because you don't want to go head to head with football at that time of year. But playing it on Friday, I think, is interesting. So from that, I'm kind of intrigued by it, but I hate the idea of playing it in a football stadium.
Yeah, I hate those.
Yeah.
And I'm interested, like, what's the attendance even going to be there? Like, it just seems silly. But I get why they maybe have to do that, because if I wonder where the Pacers are. Are they playing? Is that why they couldn't play at Bankers? Maybe they're full with their home games.
That was my thing. That's such a nice arena, and it's right down the street. Just use that. We don't need Lucas Oil for a non-conference game. They'll do that.
I just feel like selling tickets for a basketball game on a Friday night in November, 6 days from Thanksgiving. It's probably not the easiest thing to do. So I just don't know why we have to play it there. That would be my question.
One positive, it's a 4-game series. There's 2 in Rupp, and this is an Indiana home game, so it's their dumbasses that wanted to do it there. We're going to them. We get 2 Rupps, and they only get 1 Assembly Hall. So good luck on your Lucas Oil. I'm sure we'll have someone there from KSR. Jack, maybe Zach, you'll go. Steven will be there. Although Steven might hate Lucas Oil more than me. I don't know, Steven, if you want to chime in and cuss it out.
Indianapolis in general.
If you have any thoughts. But Steven and I have been there a few times together. Not a fan of that place. Probably the things he'd say about it you can't say on YouTube. It's not one of our topics, but what did you think about Arian Foster saying Commonwealth Stadium's the best football stadium in the SEC?
Did that come out today? I didn't see it.
Yeah, he said about microdosing.
I saw Matt Roush's tweet, but I didn't read it. He played an
absolute. Yeah, go ahead.
He played an absolute banger in that stadium in 07. That was probably one of the best games he played in that stadium. That's
probably why.
Yeah, he had a really good game that day. I think first play of the game, he went 70 yards or something on a swing pass.
Yeah, he said he liked the color of it. Like it wasn't just that he played well; he was really complimenting it. He's like, "I really like their color scheme." I was like, "What is going on?" We got Vols over here talking about how nice Commonwealth Stadium is.
The stadium was a little dreary back then. I mean, it rocked that year, but it's blue bleachers. It's not they weren't even blue back then. They were silver bleachers back then.
Yeah. He must have been really impressed. I don't know. Maybe the podcast he's on is called Macrodosing. Maybe he'd been doing a little dosing when he was in.
I love Lexington. I love Lexington, but it's not the most beautiful place to be in late November. So
he even says it was very overcast. He mentioned how overcast it was in complimenting it. We're like, all right, we'll take it. That was a fun one. Let's get some of our board questions. I know we had several. I can read them, or Steven, if you want to do the fancy graphics and have them pop up. Bang. No? Okay.
Sorry, Drew. I don't have them on here. I'm sorry.
Perfect. That's all right. I'll read them. I wrote them down. I didn't know if our technology was ready today. First off, from Bonk Risher, B0NKRSHR, Bone Crusher. I'm going to go with Bone Crusher. Adam.
Sounds right to me.
It's either Bonk Richer or Bone Crusher. I don't know, but thank you for writing in.
First one.
Love to have you. This was directed to Adam. I guess Zach, me and you got to shut up. They don't care about our opinion, but he wants to know, or she wants to know, who will lead the team in receiving this season.
I like DJ Miller. Nick Anderson banged up. I think he's the favorite. We'll see if he could. He's only had one big season, but they kind of gushed about DJ Miller, the sophomore, who played last year. Drew has been lost to the blue.
Yeah, he just left. He's out of the thing here. So, Steven, if you want to join in for a second, you can.
Number 7, DJ Miller is my pick. He had a pretty good spring. He's a guy the last staff gushed about. This new staff has gushed about. I think DJ Miller will lead them in receiving, and I think his kind of connection with Minchie will be big going into the next year because I think he could be a really good player and potentially be a guy that's, an NFL guy for Kentucky. So DJ Miller, I think, is a sneaky candidate there, and that's who I would to lead them in receiving.
More proof of me needing sleep. I tried to read the questions, and I just completely closed this browser like we're not on a live stream. That wasn't my Wi-Fi. That was me going out of my way to click the X and leave this and come back.
That's your body taking over saying, go to bed, idiot. We're going to bed right now.
I need more of this coffee. All right, second question from Moon4117. Are there any plans to create new KSR YouTube shows going into the next football and basketball seasons, or do more happy hours? They say they think once a quarter it would be fun to have a retro game watch-along like UK versus Duke. I worry about us getting into the licensing on that. If the game's old enough, it's like, what's Jefferson Pilot going to lawyer up and sue us? I don't know how that works.
Should we do Jefferson Pilot Wednesday? We just watched the Daves, some old Jared game.
We've thought about this for a long time. I would love to make it work, but I'm sure UK would call us before we got 5 minutes into it and say, what are you all doing? But it would be fun.
Well, I will say that this has been this is a Stephen Peak passion project, actually. And it's currently in the works for Zoom action for, I think, because Stephen has these games on tape. Like, he has the physical tape for them. So he wants to do a Zoom action with Brandon Ramsey and I where we just kind of talk over, I think it was like a 1996 or maybe a 1998 game. I forget exactly which one. And then maybe do that a couple times. I do like how the question posed it as like once a quarter, like it's like we're big business.
We're releasing our earnings and we're also doing the
But that is kind of something we've thought about. We haven't really looked into the nooks and crannies of the legality of it all, and if YouTube would strike it down or anything like that. But that is something that's in the works, maybe sooner rather than later, actually. So stay tuned, Mr. Moon 411 something.
That'd be a fun one. Go ahead,
because we're kind of slammed. Like, we do have shows every day, I think, on the YouTube channel during football season.
Pretty much.
But I've had kind of wanting to do maybe more of a X and O type thing. It's just figuring out what will work best in that. So if you have an idea, send them our way. But we are always thinking about more content for the YouTube channel.
The game watches would be fun. As much as we like StreamYard, this is great. We all get to stay home. That would be fun to actually get together on a couch, mic'd up, maybe have a few country boys and watch the game like, people used to watch it and just really goof off of everything going from the commercials.
Something like that, like with Steven and maybe like Sean Smith did a live watch or something. Did that for a couple times, and it was a lot to handle, I think, for Steven to kind of do all, like, that was a lot of levers to pull at the same time. So I don't think we did it more than a couple times. But I remember joining on one of those. It was like during the second half of one random UK game or something while it was live. That was fun, though.
I've done something similar. It was many years ago, but in the early KSR days, we were trying new things. And this, I don't remember if it was live. It's definitely long gone. But me and a friend of mine who's not in the KSR sphere, but he's one of the funniest people I know, we watched an old PBA bowling event from like the 80s. We knew nothing about it, and we did like play-by-play over it. I'm not saying this to brag on myself. He was actually funnier than I was. It is objectively hilarious because we're commenting on their outfits, people in the crowd, the commercials, and it was so much fun, especially not knowing what was going to happen. And then next thing, this guy pops up, Guppy Troop, with his afro and his outfit, and we're laughing at that. So I think that would be fun to pick a game from many years ago where maybe we know the outcome, but all the little things like crowd shots and whatever the announcers are saying, we could have some fun with it. So, Steven, whenever you're not on YouTube, which is very rarely, we'll explore that a little more, and maybe Zoom action will have one for us, as Zach said. I like the idea. South End Josh, a regular on KS board. I guess this is for Luckett again, even though it's not addressed specifically to him, but he wants to know if we'll have a 3,000-yard passer this season. I guess unless something goes wrong, that would have to be Kenny Minchie. Well, can he get to 3,000 yards?
Yeah, I think there's a very good chance that happens. The only way it doesn't happen, I think, is if this run game really takes off. And with the run game, the backs, it's just worry about like availability. Is anyone going to emerge? So I would say that seems likely, and that would be a long time. And that gets us back to the Alabama game. Like, Drew, that's very much an introduction for Kentucky to not only obviously you're in the big window nationally, but it's really to the fan base. Like, This is different. How they're running, it's different. This is one's going to be more QB centric, I think, than the last era of Kentucky football. And they're going to throw the football around a little bit. And they're going to play some exciting offense, throwing the ball around the yard some. And I think there's going to be a moment in that game, Drew, where I think that place is just going to be unhinged because they're not going to know what to do with some of the offense. If there's a drive where they just hit them with 3 or 4 kind of big plays. So yeah, I do think there's a very good chance that happens for Minchie this year.
Who was the last one? Was it Levis?
Mike Hartline.
Oh
my God. Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Nice.
Mike Hartline was coaching here last year. Yeah, that's been a big topic on 11 personnel for years. I think we haven't had a 3,000-yard passer in the 11 personnel era, and we're going on near a decade of 11 personnel. So there we are.
Yeah, Hartline, that was like 2008 or 9, right? Maybe a little later.
2010 was the last one. I think Levis was the closest one, and he got like the 27 and change in 2021. But the Levis year, he had a few SEC, like he was hovering around 100 yards. And when he had big games, it wasn't necessarily throwing for 350. Where I think with Minchie, I think he's going to have some big games where he gets up to around 400. So I think Leary got close too. Leary was up there too. I think Levis and Leary were the closest in this little time frame.
Well, if you could count all the times he got the ball batted down at the line of scrimmage, if you could just give him a few yards for those, he would have made it.
So really, it was Liam Cohen. When Liam Cohen was here, they got close, but when Cohen wasn't here, it wasn't really close at all.
To credit the Stoops era, it's hard to throw for 3,000 yards when you have multiple record-breaking running backs. The run game was going pretty strong there many of those years. Yeah, but it is wild it's been that long since there's been a 3,000-yard passer. A question from the comments. Nick Bowman wants to know about happy hour merchandise. I didn't know we were that popular here on the happy hour, but maybe we need some T-shirts.
Maybe we need a happy hour koozie. That's what
Look at that. I'll tell Country Boy. We'll get on it.
I figured now on the pint glasses. Freeze them.
Okay.
Pour the beer in, drink it home. It makes it taste, it feels like a little more, feels like you're drinking a draft beer almost at home. Pour them in the glass. To me, I'm big on those now. Like I've got a whole case, not case, but I got more than a handful of them now at the house. I'm big on.
Look, it has 24 pint glasses in his fridge.
I would. Not the fridge, but they're in the cabinet. They're in a rotation at the house. But
that reminds me of in college. If you were coming over to our house, it doesn't matter what you were drinking, you were getting out of a Pazzo's glass. Just every Pazzo's glass imaginable.
I had so many Drake's glasses.
I couldn't tell you how many apartments I went to, opened up somebody's, where their glasses are, and all that's in there, it's pint glasses from Pazzo's. Just
genius marketing by Pazzo's.
Absolutely.
I didn't miss a pint night for many years. And if you're at my house, I don't care if it's date night, you want some red wine. I don't care if you just woke up and you want coffee, water, whatever you're drinking, it is being served in a Pazzo's pint glass. I miss those. I don't know what happened to them because I moved them from 6 different apartments and houses. They went everywhere with me. Let's get a few more questions in. Drasbold. I think this is the guy who was getting a little excited about Jack Pilgrim on the board earlier this week. Did y'all see that thread?
When he was showing his thighs, Jack was?
That, and he was talking about his hair. It was getting
yeah.
Getting a little weird on the internet.
Yeah. I even wrote, y'all need to get a room. But he wrote in. He did not compliment us. I guess we're not handsome enough. But he asked to do a quick review and expectations on total wins for the season. This is a long question. Yeah, I'm not reading all that. Sorry, you and Jack can read that on your mandate. I don't know. I'm going to change this question because we can't just do a game by game prediction. But Roush put out those projected spreads earlier this week. Kentucky's a double-digit underdog in most of them. And to be fair, that's from the S&P. The spreads will look completely different when the season comes. But just looking at that, as I completely change this question, which one would you say if you had to make a money line bet? I'm not going to hold you to it that you're picking the win, but which of those do you think Kentucky's most likely to shock somebody?
I think November they're going to get some wins. And I think you look at Louisville, Florida, Missouri, they're all projected underdogs there. I think that's where they're really going to make some noise and show some real proof of concept. So I would say those 3 are 3 big ones I'm looking at. Weirdly, I know it's like what everyone's saying, but Alabama almost feels like of some of the three early, which you're looking at Alabama, A&M, LSU. Like Alabama almost feels, which is kind of crazy to say out loud. And then the South Carolina one, I think, is a big one too. Their first game in October.
The thing Roush did, honestly, the Alabama was one of the tighter spreads. I mean, it was still, I believe it was 12, but compared to some of the ones on there, it wasn't as bad as you thought it would be. Just with looking at sheer logos there. Yeah, Alabama was UK'd be a 12-point dog, then 19 at A&M, and then 14 LSU, 16 Oklahoma, Florida 8.5, Tennessee 14.5. So Alabama was. You just think of Alabama, the brand, a 12-point spread. We'll take that if they want to bring it in here.
And I'm fascinated just to see how Kentucky matches up with Tennessee, too. Because that one's been, I know we've joked on the KSR YouTube channel about easiest money was playing Tennessee some of those years, specifically like this past year. That was, but Kentucky's play is going to match up better Tennessee, and I'm excited to see what that game looks like this year.
I feel bad that I just completely disrespected Drasvold's lengthy question and might have accused he and Jack Pilgrim of getting a room. So now that I've read it without trying to process it on the fly, I will ask you part of it. He's asking about, has there been any news on Minchie post-spring practice, just about his being a leader of the team, maybe vocal in the locker room, where towards the end of the Mark Stoops era, maybe that was lacking a little bit?
Nothing specifically, I would say, since spring ball ended, but everything I heard really since the night they got him was just like professionalism is a word thrown around a lot. Just professionalism, approach, like day-to-day operation. They really like his maturity and how he approaches things. And I think, not rah-rah necessarily, but like leader by example, I think, and he demands the attention of his teammates for just how he approaches things. And that's liked about him so to this point, and so that is played out, and that's what I've heard. Just the professionalism is kind of the word I hear whenever the Minchie conversations happen. So I think they've been impressed with his leadership to this point. We'll have to see, when getting the ebbs and flows of a season, how that all works out. But they're pretty high on him and think he can have a pretty good year. So that's where we're at with that.
Last one comes from Me Too. That is their name, M-E, the number 2. It's not me also asking a question. Me Too wants to know, how do you do a show when there's nothing going on? Well, Me Too, that is one of the fun challenges of doing this in the summer. Right now,
always something going on.
Yeah, but sometimes, especially 2-hour radio. You hosted a radio show just last week, Zach. I don't know if you ran into some spots, but there can be windows in the year where topics get a little thin. That's not the case right now. We have a lot going on, but you do food brackets. You make stuff up. Maybe you talk about forgetting to put a diaper on your baby. There's always something to say, and that's why we'll be doing the happy hour here all summer, 4 o'clock, brought to you by Country Boy. Maybe those quarterly videos that we'll put out with our earnings 4 times a year that someone requested earlier. Luckett, last time on UK baseball, we get in the win. You're going to go out and have some fun in Morgantown. How you feeling?
I think they're going to get Wake Forest, and even think they're going to have a pretty good chance to beat West Virginia. And if they do that, I think they're going to win the regional. But I just worry over the long term. I just don't know if they have enough pitching to get it done in a regional setting. Weirdly, I honestly think this team is better suited to go play in a super regional where you have Jelkin and then you got 2 chances. But with this, it's just hard. And then the pitching matchup with Jelkin, you could argue the Wake Forest has the advantage in that. So. There's a lot. I think there's a lot that they're just going to have to overcome this week. And I don't know if they're going to be able to knock all the pegs down. But they typically played well in the post, make some noise at some point in this regional. But it's hard for me to envision them winning just because I don't know if they're just going to get the pitching over what you would need 27 to 36 or even 45 innings if it goes long.
Some breaking news. Matt just announced that Pardon My Take will be back on June 16th. That's coming up. That's a Tuesday, a couple weeks away. We were just talking a little barstool macrodosing, but Big Cat and PFT will be doing their annual appearance on KSR coming up in a few weeks. That's big news. He also
hopefully no one farts on air.
Yeah, no kidding. That was Hank. Keep it down back there. Don't want to end up on TMZ again. Also, Matt shared JQ 2526, just one of the hottest names in sports media right now, saying that the Momcilovic is getting close to being finalized. So that's going around a little bit. So, Zach, I guess we'll just be watching our phones here, maybe tonight, maybe definitely soon, and hopefully the Cats, even though Luckett's got me worried about this rug we're standing on. Don't want that getting pulled out.
I just want to see it happen. I worry for everyone if it doesn't happen at this point, because how many times can you keep getting, up and excited? They just need to finish one off, and this is a big one. It's a hinge. It feels like a hinge moment, because if they get him, you could see the path of them being very good, and if you don't get him, I just worry. I worry about the team next year and just how everything goes. But if they get him, I think you got a pretty high ceiling. So it's a big moment. You got to get one, and it feels like they're due in this time. So let's see them finish it off and get one.
And if it's done by Saturday, why don't you head on out to Lexington SC Stadium for the 7 o'clock Gamebridge Super League Final? Lexington SC hosting Carolina Ascent FC. Matches at 7. Gates open at 5:30. General admission tickets for $5 and beer ranging from $1.50 to $2. That's awesome. Post-game drone show. I didn't mention that. Look at all this going on. Everyone should get out there. Should be good weather out at the Lexington SC Stadium. I've been out there several times for nothing to this magnitude. So I hope they have a big crowd. But it's a fun place to take the family. They have a lot going on out there. Food trucks, little areas where your little ones can play. Or if you don't have little ones, you can partake in a few extra beers. But everyone check that out. Thanks to them for being a sponsor with Country Boy here. As soon as I hang this up, I'm going to tell Country Boy, let's get some pint glasses going. Add to Luckett's collection. Some Country Boy happy hour pint glasses. Maybe we'll have news on those soon. But thank you, Zach. Thank you, Adam. I know you just popped into the hotel room. Appreciate you doing this when you could be out enjoying the Morgantown scenery. Go find you a pepperoni roll and don't get hit by a car in that little bar district down there. Let's beat the almost said beat the Batcats. Let's go Batcats tomorrow. Let's beat Wake Forest. Thank y'all for watching another happy hour. Goodbye.